Hello YouTube, it is Championdjk coming at you again with another weekly episode. As usual, I've got some weird stuff to show you today. Yeah, we're back to that. We're back to some goofy stuff. Yeah. So, of course, first, tomorrow, if you're watching this on the Saturday that this is being released, tomorrow, if you're watching it on Sunday, today, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on Whatnot, I will be doing a giveaway and sale. I will be giving away, I think, 11 items of various value, and I will be selling some random stuff. So, I've got some stuff picked out to sell. I'm just going to kind of pell-mell it and do that as far as when the sale goes. The giveaway stuff is planned, but it should be fun. I'm going to try to stream for approximately an hour. It might take a little bit longer than that. Who knows? If I get rolling, we might just keep going. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I've definitely got some cool items picked out to give away. Some are Hot Wheels. I've got some Tomica Premium. I've got just some interesting stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy that and join me for that on Whatnot. I will link an invite link to Whatnot. Excuse me. Go sign up and follow me on there, Championdjk. If you're not signed up already and you follow my invite link, you will get $15 of credit towards your first purchase. So take advantage of that if you are not already signed up for Whatnot. If you are, you can still follow the invite link and then find me on there and give me a follow and then join the giveaway tomorrow at 4 p.m. All right, so without further ado, let's get into some strange things for sure. All right, so first of all, shout out to our Whammy King on Instagram. He just hit me up. He's like, I love your videos, blah, blah, blah. We chat every once in a while. But he found a couple of oddball things, and he just wanted to send them to me. I'm like, sure, just send them to me, and let's check them out. So he left me a note and just said there's a few cars that he found he hopes I enjoy. So here is what we got. We got a Tomica Pocket Car. I love these things. These things are fantastic. It's a Bugatti Royale. So that's cool. We got this weird Taco Bell VW concept. So he wasn't lying. He sent me weird stuff. He sent me 3 items, and they're all weird. And then this Corgi Fox Body Mustang baseball trading cars. This is the New York Yankees. I think I have this car as a Milwaukee Brewer. I think I do. I don't know if it's this exact one, but I'm pretty sure I got a Milwaukee Brewers car, and I think it is a Fox Body Mustang. And I think it also might be Corgi, but I don't think I've ever really checked them out on a card before. But we will be opening it up. So yeah. So thanks again, Jay. I really do appreciate it. Whammy King on Instagram. Give him a follow. He posts like massive haul every week. Kind of does what I do, but does it on Instagram and just a, top-down view of everything he got. Man, he picks up a lot of stuff every week. So kind of interesting things. All right. So there's that. I got one thing from eBay. Someone was like blowing these out. I just picked one up. It is a Sparky 1/64 scale diecast Le Mans Porsche. I just posted pictures of the skull one of this casting to my Instagram this last week, and then I got this Canon one, the Canon livery, and I think it's pretty cool. I shoot a Canon camera, so I don't know. I'm not a Canon fanboy or anything, but I think it's pretty cool to have that on a car. So really neat there. I like that. All right. And then the rest of this stuff here that I've got in front of me was all from a Facebook seller. It's my go-to kind of Facebook group, sales group thing. The gentleman posts stuff, and then you can build a box, and then when you want it shipped, you get it shipped. And I always end up with weird stuff from this guy, and this is really no exception. I guess we'll start with the more common items. I've got the Johnny Lightning here, Johnny Lightning Firebird that I needed in black. Okay. And then I got a Johnny Lightning GTO right here. And he does this all auction style, and I usually end up getting stuff for really cheap. I kind of do my usual thing where I'll throw just a bid on it, and then if I get it, I get it. So that's the way it goes. Matchbox Ford GT in purple. Okay, we're still sticking with kind of your common brand stuff. Older green light, County Roads, 1982 Chevy Corvette in black. Anytime he posts up old green light stuff, I always try to snag it. Although I think people are kind of onto that now because a lot of people are bidding on these items when he puts them up. So I haven't been getting them as cheap as I usually do. But this is a really cool looking Corvette, a really nice looking Corvette. And I think that's all for like your common brands here, U.S. brand stuff that you can get here. Well, there's a Racing Champions, but this is an older Racing Champions. I decided to pick up one of these. This is the Premier Edition Racing Champions IndyCar collection. I've never had one of these in my collection, so I decided to pick up one. This is Danny Sullivan and the Visa IndyCar. So kind of cool vintage looking packaging on this. Oh, and neat thing, so it's got a space here for the driver signature. So that's kind of neat. This one's obviously not signed by the driver, but it's got a space there, so if you were to go to an IndyCar race or some sort of signing event, you'd be able to, you know, hey, sign my car, and you'd have a place to do it. The copyright date on these is 1995? That seems real old. So I don't know if that's really when these were produced. We'll investigate it further when we open it up. So I got that. That's a little weird. It's different. We've got a Corgi BMW 850i in a box. That's a bit odd, a bit weird. Not something you see every day, I suppose, here. Copyright date on this is 1992. This stuff is getting pretty old now, like me. Yep. All right, so, and then we've got this 1971 Dodge Charger and one of my favorite defunct brands, the American Muscle from Ertl. This packaging is completely destroyed. Hopefully the car is okay. These are always kind of a crapshoot. It's kind of a gamble, but it's a gamble I love taking. Trying to get these and hoping that they're in good condition. And then, you know, this one looks like we might have some issues, but that should be entertaining anyway. But yeah, there's that. And then I got a loose Ertl. This is GTO in red. And I don't think I had this one in this color. I've got it in like a maroonish, but it's not quite this red. I've got a few different versions of this. So this casting was actually reused as a Racing Champions as well. So these castings are super neat. I love this American Muscle stuff. So, and then speaking of that, so then we got some 1/43 scale stuff. Yeah, I've been picking up 1/43 every now and then, and only when I can get it very, very cheaply. So we've got American Muscle, same Ertl brand, Ertl Collectibles brand as this 1/64 scale stuff, but we got a 1949 Mercury Custom in 1/43 scale. And I'm guessing this is going to be pretty nice. I don't know. I've never had one. But we're going to check it out and find out what it's like. Now, some of you might be, you know, why is he collecting 1/43 scale stuff now? Honestly, I wouldn't have batted an eye at it if it wasn't for shooting pictures of stuff. And I thought maybe 1/43 scale would be fun to shoot. You know, where I don't have to get like super up close on something and the dust specks aren't like as big is compared to the size of the car, so it might be a little bit less of a pain to retouch. But I don't know. We'll see. I haven't shot many of them yet, but that and the fact that Hot Wheels was putting out 1/43 stuff kind of intrigued me a little bit to get some stuff to compare it to. So there's that. We got that Mercury Custom, and then I've got a Schuco 1/43 scale, and I think all these I paid about $5 each for. So I did not shell out a lot of cash for this stuff, but 1/43 scale. Schuco BMW. I'm excited to look at that. That should be fun. And then I've also got this weird one here, and I said I wasn't going to buy a 1/43 scale unless I could store it easy in a case, but this one was one exception. I ended up picking it up. This is, I don't know how to pronounce it on the bottom. I will show you in the next segment of the video. I think it's a French brand. But this is a Porsche 911, and it's really cool, actually, in 1/43rd scale, and it's really well done. The doors open on this, but the gaps are actually really good on this, and the doors open with a closed window. And it's just a really nice little Porsche. So I'm definitely going to shoot this one. I think it's going to be cool to do. And then lastly, we've got these Legends of Racing. And I thought in pictures that these looked super cool. Vintage race cars in 1/43rd scale. They come with little acrylic cases. The acrylic cases are a bit beat up, but it's an easy way to store the vehicle. But we've got 4 of them, and we're going to check those up close. Now, spoiler alert with these are a little disappointing. And if you have them, you probably know why. If you don't, stick around to find out, because these look really cool at a distance, or in a, picture with a low resolution camera. But, yeah, we're going to check them up close, and you will see what I'm talking about. All right, let's go ahead and flip the camera around, and let's get a good look at this stuff up close. I think we're opening everything that I showed. Yeah, I think we are, except for the stuff that's already loose, obviously. All right, so again, quick reminder, whatnot, please check me out on that. I need this to be a success, okay? So go do it. Just check it out. You can delete the app after review. No, you can't do that. Don't do that. It's a really fun app. But I need it to be a success so that I can continue to do more Whatnot live giveaway shows. It would be fun to keep that up. So we need this first one to go good. All right. Thank you very much. Let's flip the camera around. All right, let's take a look at this Matchbox Madness VW concept. Cool concepts, Taco Bell. Collect all 4 only at Taco Bell. Oh man, why doesn't Taco Bell give away Matchbox anymore? Wouldn't that be cool? Exclusive series available only at Taco Bell. Let's check out what else was in the series. We got that weird VW bug. What do we got there? Is that a Firebird? Is that a Firebird? Or is that a Camaro? I don't know. Some sort of Hummer kind of thing, and it looks like maybe a Corvette. It appears that, oh, does it tell you on here? Chrysler Atlantic, the Buster, Plymouth Prowler concept. I don't know what's going on. All right, so collect 4, but then they have a list of 5 cars. Oh, that's for Series 4, 1990. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. This thing's 1998-ish. It is goofy. It is weird, and we are going to open it. The VW Concepts. This is before the new Beetle was the new Beetle, I guess. Whoop. She came right out. All right. Look at this weird... What? Oh, okay. All right, so no interior on this thing is what it appears. Made in China. VW concept. Riveted together. Rolls really nice. It's a Matchbox. No interior. They're just silver windows. And then silver plastic. Is that plastic or is that part of the metal? It's a metal body. I don't know. It's really weird. And it almost feels like this is plastic, but it's not. And this, I think, is... maybe it's not. Maybe that's all part of the mold. Yeah, it's all one piece. Weird Taco Bell VW bug. So, that's what happens. I tell people I like weird and oddball stuff, and then this is what they get sent. Some weird and oddball stuff, and this definitely fits that bill. Goofy. All right, so kind of an interesting little piece there. Then we got Tomy pocket cars, and I will never turn down these. These are so cool. Any old Tomica stuff, I don't know, something charming about them I just think is very, very cool. This is a 1927 Bugatti Royale. So the Tomy pocket cars, these were released in the U.S. and to kind of compete with Hot Wheels, I'm guessing. Oh, Joan, firm $6. She's firm about it. Here's kind of a list of a bunch of stuff that was available. These are really, really cool. They're 81, 82, 83, I think, are the years that they were available in the U.S. and they were packaged like this, a little jean pocket kind of thing. What's in your pocket? The blister is cracked on it, so easy to pull that out. But look at this little cute thing. Bugatti. So obviously not scale accurate to 1/64. This thing is what, 1/80th scale. So it's tiny compared to what the car would actually be, which is pretty massive. Very skinny looking car. Kind of a neat. It's just neat, this old like vintage stuff. I love finding stuff like this that's mint condition. Car-wise, I don't care about the card, obviously. And anytime I see a Tomy pocket car and I don't have like a mint example of it, I definitely will go after it. This, and if it's affordable, obviously some people want an arm and a leg for these things. And they are cool, but yeah. It's just they're neat. They released a lot of cool cars too. There's some like Lotuses, Ferraris, stuff like that. So very, very cool. Lamborghini Countach they've done. It's just a neat series of cars, and some of these toolings actually have been like re-released and like used today or like recently as Tomica Basics. So that's kind of cool. They got like a history, kind of like Hot Wheels and Matchbox. This is like the Japan Hot Wheels or Matchbox, really. Okay, and then we got this Corgi baseball trading cards. They are precision made. They have moving parts. They are safety tested. Very important. 1 year money back warranty, non-toxic paints, and they are licensed by Major League Baseball. And we can kind of check out the back. Corgi, definitely an interesting little brand. This, more known in Europe, I believe, than the US. I wanted to see if it said where it was made. Oh, it says crafted in Great Britain. Very cool. 1982. So these and this basically came out about the same time. So we're going to open it up. I'm going to save this card. I save some old vintage cards sometimes and just kind of pile them up. It's kind of cool just to look through every once in a while. So we got this Fox Body Mustang. It's a Ford Mustang Cobra, made in Great Britain. That is very cool that it was made in the UK. And we've got New York Yankees logo, yellow interior, and I think they just made a bunch of these. And I want to say these were all the same casting. I don't know that for certain, but I think all the baseball team ones were the same Fox Body Mustang tooling. Got a little trailer hitch on the back, and then of course the opening hatch, and just kind of a cool little piece. But yeah, I definitely dig it. I think it's neat. I think it's very cool. So thanks again, Jay, for those 3 pieces. I do appreciate that. Anytime I can get something weird and odd added to the collection. One of these days, we're going to go through my jammers full of weird, odd stuff and just kind of go through it and talk about cars randomly. I think that would be some fun video. I have a lot of videos that I'd like to do. It's just the time, to be able to do them. We got to figure that out. But I have so much stuff I could re-show and kind of show things together. And maybe one day we'll do that. All right, so Matchbox, sports cars, Ford GT. It'd be fun to do those live, actually. That would be really the right, so we can have some back and forth discussion. Those would get quite long, but I think that's probably the right way to do it. All right, so 2009 is the copyright date on this, which probably lands her around 2010. Oh, here we go. Collect all 100 vehicles for 2010. That answers our question right there. This is the Ford GT in purple. Anytime I see a variation of this casting, and I think I don't have it, not necessarily that I know I don't have it, because I am definitely at that time now where I don't know what I all have. Inevitably, your brain eventually fills up, and mine has been full now for a while. So if I don't keep track of it in a spreadsheet or something like that with variations of a certain casting, I have a hard time. So thankfully I can refer to a list. I don't know. Part of it might be getting older, and the other part of it just might be I have so much stuff that there's only so much room for all of that. I know that's kind of a myth, right? I don't think you can technically fill up your brain, but I don't know. This thing is cool nonetheless. It's purple, it's sparkly, it's got a silver stripe down the center, and it's a casting that I enjoy from Matchbox. So pretty darn cool. Looks like the casting debuted probably around 2007. And it was made in Thailand. It rolls beautifully, of course, and just a basic Matchbox, and I think it's quite cool. So there's that. All right, keep her moving here. Let's do Corgi again. We're back to Corgi. All right, so Corgi meet Corgi. This is a boxed Corgi, BMW, looking made in China. This one's made in China though, because this came out in the 90s. So BMW 850i. There's something charming about these wheels. I don't know. I really like those Corgi wheels for some reason. I wrecked the box pulling it out. I could have saved this box probably, but whoops. So that's going in the trash. But here you go. Here's your BMW casting. Now, this casting was eventually reused as a Hot Wheels when I believe Mattel acquired Corgi. I don't know exactly how that went down. But they got toolings or were using toolings from Corgi, and they were releasing Hot Wheels from Corgi toolings. And it's got opening doors, but man, they are stiff, and I don't want to force them because I don't want to break something. But they're supposed to open, and they probably do. But this casting was used and released as a Hot Wheel. I don't think I've got the Hot Wheels version of it, but I should get it. I should kind of do a collection of my Corgi castings versus the Hot Wheel alternative and kind of collect them. Anytime I see Corgi Hot Wheels or castings that were released as Hot Wheels, I tend to grab them or pick them up just because it's an interesting era of Hot Wheels when they were using these Corgi castings. And not a lot about that era of Hot Wheels was very good. There's a lot of bad, I don't know, artistic choices. Maybe they were appropriate for the time, but it's not really a desirable period of Hot Wheels history. So, but the Corgi stuff is kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. All right, let's see. So let me know what you think about the Corgi stuff. And then we got this Johnny Lightning Muscle Cars 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge. This is a crispy card. It's like brand new. Like it's shiny. It's shiny and everything. A little bit of package wear on the bottom, but 2006 RC2 is what we got. Now, we always look at copyright dates, but you know that, if you've been collecting for a time, that doesn't exactly tell the story of when the car came out. Sometimes they have a date on here when the release was released, and sometimes they don't. What we can glean from it likely is it was copyrighted in that certain day or certain year, and then likely was produced the year or released the year after. It's kind of typical, but not always true. But this is your Judge GTO. And we get this little art here. Mac Reagan, shout out to you, buddy. Super cool dude, by the way, Mac Reagan. You should follow him on Instagram if you don't. And on Facebook, he posts really cool cars with stories about the casting and stuff. His collection is vast. It's amazing. And he really posts interesting stuff. There's been several times I've been like, anytime he posts something that I have, I'm like, yes. And anytime that he posts something that I don't have, and it's really cool, I try to find it. So he's a good guy to follow. If you're not already following him on Instagram and in the face page, you should check out Mac Reagan. Okay. I don't think he works for any diecast company anymore, but he did, obviously, and he's a good one to follow because definitely interesting stuff can be found. This is a really nice version of this car. I'm having some weird deja vu, though. I think do I have this one already? Because I know I've got a card like this with his name on it. It's probably just another one from this series or something like that, but maybe I do already have this. And if I do, I got two. There might be a wheel variation of it, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's why I picked it up. The hood's supposed to open on this. Again, I'm not going to force it. I'm just not going to do it. There's no reason to. There's a motor under there. We know it. I've got other versions of this casting that I can look at if I really want to see what the tooling of the motor looks like. The other thing that Johnny Lightning does is you're going to have a tooling number on the bottom that's 261. So I do like that they do that. There is a date code probably right here. That's probably what this is. I can't tell you what that means. The copyright date on the casting is 2003, so that gives you a hint as to when the casting was first developed, or at least when it was copyrighted. but there you go. Again, dates. You got to like pick up the pieces here, like when you're looking at this stuff. Oh, you see, this was approved by him in 05. The design was, and then maybe came out in 06. That's probably the case. All right. This is kind of a cool little, almost matching little Pontiac here. We got another one in black, in red. This is a 68 Firebird, 400 HO in the Firebird series. Looks like Firebird release 3, and this one, copyright date is 2005. Oh, this one's approved as well by the design department. I don't know whose signature that is. It's not Max, though. Doesn't look like it. Who's that guy? Well, Mac, if you're watching, can you tell me who that is? Maybe I'll remember for the future. I wonder if it's Tony. I don't know. All right, so JL Design Department, Firebirds Release 3, 1968 Pontiac Firebird. This one's already got the hood open, so we can peek into there. Just a cast motor in there that is black. This one's got rubber tires as well. Metal body, very well detailed, and nicely done by Johnny Lightning. Very cool. And we can look at, if you guys are interested, I guess even if you're not, we're going to try to find it. There's the tooling number, 94. And then the copyright date, we should see that it's probably going to be an older casting based on that tooling number, but I don't see... You guys see a date anywhere? I don't see a date, but it's got the older style Johnny Lightning logo. It's a little bit different than the one on this. So this is an older tooling. So that's kind of cool. There's hints on the casting to kind of figure out, you know, when these things came out. All right. So next, let's get into Ertl. So we've got American Muscle by Ertl. And these castings are cool. I've shown them several times. We've got opening hood. We've got an opening trunk. We've got very detailed base on these. It is plastic, but it is separate pieces. I've gone over this several times, but, you know, why not? There's no continuity here, so we're going to go ahead and take a peek. And, yeah, there you go. We got inserted details for headlights. That's what I'm trying to get at there. And a separate piece for the bumper. And, of course, like the fuel tanks there. These are screwed together. You can pop this tank off. You can pop off the suspension up here. And you can get to screws that will unscrew the casting. Or you can pull the whole thing apart. Maybe one day I'll take one apart for you. I've got some that are kind of not great. So this one's got some paint rash on it. Some paint bubbling, which sadly is common for cars that released around this era. And when I say around this era, that's kind of hard for me to say. What's the date that these things came out? I always forget. You know, we're going to guess around just the early 2000s. But these are very cool toolings. They're really neat, and I like them, and I have a bunch of them, and one day we will look at my entire collection of them, but it is growing. I actually have a lot that I still need to open yet. So... But we are going to open this one, this 71 Dodge Charger. And as you can see, you know, it's been through a lot. It's been through quite a bit. Also, these are great cars. Like if you're going to do, like make weathered customs or beat up old, like barn find customs, these are great cars to do that with. Because there's a lot of detail on them, and you can find them in kind of where there's already some issues, and then you can take this and make it rusty and stuff, and you can do some really cool stuff, especially since it's got opening trunk and stuff and an opening hood. Like you can take the trunk completely off and have it missing, or have the hood missing, or you can you know, you can play around with it. You could probably, if you had two different ones, you could switch colors of stuff, and I don't know. There's a lot of neat things you could do as a customizer, I think, with these. If you wanted to make, like, weathered junkyard-style cars, I think these are great candidates for that. Especially when you get one maybe like this that's got, obviously, this thing's got some issues. I will keep it and add it to the collection regardless of the issues it has, just because I don't have this one in this color. So it'll be a placeholder. If I find one mint Anytime I see these, by the way, whether I have it or not, and they're inexpensive, I almost always just pick them up. I can't resist. They're just cool. So it's awesome when you can find one without issues. And of course, this one's got some issues, but one day maybe I'll get back into making customs again, and doing weathered stuff was always fun. And I think that, you know, this would be cool to do. So there is those. All right, so what should we look at next? Let's jump to 143rd for a second, because since we're talking about the Ertl American Muscle stuff, I think it might be appropriate to take a peek at this. Now, this appears to be basically similar principle in build to the 164 scale stuff. It looks like we have an opening hood, we have an opening trunk, and some of the 164 scale stuff actually came, some of the releases came in packaging very similar to this. I got to take this off camera for a second. Here, still look at that. To try to get into this. I think I got this thing for $5, and I think that that's a good deal. We'll see what the condition of the casting is in, of course, because this may suffer from similar issues. All right. So I'm peeling the packaging apart here. So it's got a little bumper in the box, and then it's got an acrylic case, display case included. And oops, let's see here, date, do we find a date? So 2000, so it's got like the same copyright date as the 164 stuff that we were just looking at. So the way they hold these in the acrylic case is with these little blister bumper things that kind of push on the casting and keep it from moving, so it's not screwed into the base. Which, yeah, we're just going to pull it out like this. Oh, bumper. Well, that's unfortunate. All right. We got a loose bumper. Easy to repair. Not that you shouldn't have to, but easy to repair. So, kind of looks good without the bumper, though. Let's put the bumper back on for fun here. Yeah, looks good with the bumper, but kind of looks good without the bumper, too. So again, customizers, with all these separate little pieces and parts, like you could rat this out, make a cool, like kind of rat rod kind of deal with this if you wanted to. I think these definitely, if I was going to get back into customizing and making like old barn find stuff, junkyard stuff, I think this is definitely what I would go after, is try to get a bunch of like stuff like this to do it with, because you got all these extra little details and parts and pieces. This looks to be constructed very similar to the way that the 164 scale stuff is. It is screwed together. You can see the screws, they're exposed on the bottom here, but you do have all these little separate pieces, like the exhaust is a separate piece. This has got, what the heck's going on here? It's got like quad exhaust. You got exhaust coming out the back, and then you got the side pipes as well. Is that a common thing to do? I don't know. Kind of weird, actually. Of course, opening hood, and you get the opening trunk. The headlights are like a inserted detail. The paint is in pretty decent shape. There's a little bit of haze and stuff in some places. It might polish up well, though. I might try to do that. We got rubber tires. It does roll. It's kind of a badass looking car, really. I think it looks quite neat. It actually kind of looks better without the bumper on the front. I will glue this back on, though. Little dab of super glue. And I've learned to keep super glue right here next to me in these videos, because it's not exactly uncommon that we need that. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. It is what it is. I mean, these things have been bouncing around and sitting around forever. This is 2000. This thing's like 23 years old. You know, this thing can drink. And it's, you know, it's been bouncing around somebody's collection. Who knows how many like temperature cycles it's been through. Probably sitting in someone's attic or garage. It's been going from freezing cold to warm. And there's some weird insect, I think, that came out with it as well. some weird little mite thing. I don't know what that is, but I just touched it. We got to make sure we touch that, yeah. We'll get rid of that. Some tape. Oh, it's crumbling. I don't know what that is. All right. But at least it's not moving around. Okay, so there's that. And then, oh, we got one green light. I almost forgot about this green light. But the Ertl stuff is cool. I like the Ertl stuff, again, in closing on that stuff. County Roads Series 3. This is fairly old, 2009. So in terms of green light, it's an older green light. Of course, it's, you know, their standard packaging that requires the scissors. You know it's an older green light when it's got the green post. It's something they used to do. How sad they don't do that. You should bring that back. New ownership of green light. Bring back the green post. Why is that cool? I don't know why it's cool, but it is cool. Casting number 14. So you know it's early in Greenlight's life of making castings. Copyright dated 2008. And I just think this is a great looking version of this generation of Corvette. It's a fantastic looking version. And the hood opens. There's some detail under there. There's just something about the way that the older Greenlight stuff from this era was constructed that just feels solid and good. I like them. The only gripe that people have come up with really for it is the steamroller tires. Shout out to my buddy Brian. And yeah, I get it. They're thick. They look weird. But it still looks good in photography, though, because how often are you shooting it where you're actually going to see the thickness of the tires? Not very often. But yeah, very cool. I've always loved the shape of this Corvette, this Gen Corvette. I just think I don't know, I like it. The big swoopy lines of it. I dig it. I think it's really cool. So I'm glad to have, this is a really nice version of this car. Very, very nice. So I'm glad to add that to the collection. That's very cool. And then, what do we got left here? We got a couple of 164 left. We have IndyCar Racing Champions. IndyCar. Never had one of these in the collection. Lots of gobbledygook back here. Licensing stuff, all this stuff. Firestone, Firehawk, blah, blah, blah. Valvoline. Wow, there's like licensing for every single probably little sticker and stuff on here, which is wild. Danny Sullivan, home is Aspen, Colorado. He was born March 9th, 1950. That's what his autograph would look like. So put it right there. Oh, there he is right there, too. I don't really know anything about IndyCar drivers. I just don't. But I still think the cars are cool, and I think this packaging is cool. I like how kind of vintagey this looks. Very simple. Very like screen printed look to it with only a few colors. And I dig that. What is going on here? Oh boy. That is weird. So that was like, it's like melted to the base. And I think that's some weird chemical reaction with the compound of the tire, or whatever the tire is made out of, and the plastic, and then eventually it does that. So just another argument to take things out of the package if you can, if you're going to keep them. You know, you start holding on to stuff in packaging for a long period of time. It goes through temperature cycles as you store and move things around and blah, 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 blah. You can start to have some weird issues as these things age. And this thing's got to be pretty darn old. What did we say the date was on the back? The copyright on it, where was that? 1993. I don't know if that's I don't think that's accurate. It can't be. But if it is, at least that's like the only date on this I can find. I mean, if it is that old, that's crazy. But it can't be accurate, right? Well, whatever. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. I think that's what it is, right? And this thing looks okay. I mean, it's not the greatest replica of an Indy car I've ever seen, but it's not that bad either. So, pretty neat. You got rubber tires, so that's good. Goodyear, Eagles. Pretty basic base. I mean, there's a copyright date on here too. Does that say 93 or does that say 95? Yeah, it's a 95, it looks like. Maybe there's a 3. I don't know. Maybe it is that old. That's crazy. Very cool, though. Very neat. So I like this little piece. That's cool. It'll go in my Racing Champions collection. Don't have a ton, but I've got quite a few. All right, Sparky. This is the only like modern thing I think we're looking at today. This came out, I think, last year. So we'll pop this open. And by pop this open, I mean cut this open. I wish these things would just come in a freaking little acrylic case instead of this. That's my only gripe. Because, I mean, this base, the way this is designed is super awesome. But it's like, it's kind of useless because there's no cover. So it's like, what, just collects dust? Like, give us a plastic cover over it and charge an extra $1 or whatever you got to do. Canon. Porsche. 956, number 14, second in the 24-hour Le Mans for 1985. Sparky 164. They basically just do race cars. Mainly just do race cars. And I love the way that is. The base is just this little locking mechanism. That's so cool. Without having to get out a screwdriver, you can take it on and off of the base. This one looks like the axle is like too long for the car. I think that's a weird quality issue. I don't have that on the other one. It is probably fixable if you really wanted to do it. You could pull the tire off, cut the thing a little bit shorter, put the wheel back on, and then you'd have it fixed. But that is a little goofy. I don't think I've ever seen that on one of these before. The axle's just too long. That's strange. I love the way the back wheels look. Those look fantastic. And Sparky does a pretty good job with their cars. And they don't roll. Like, this thing does not roll. Well, it does a little bit. But you really gotta, like, push on it to get it to roll. You gotta give it some downforce. But, yeah, they're cool. I dig them. And they do, like, authentic race livery stuff. And it's pretty affordable. And I guess that's the attraction to it, is the fact that it's affordable and they do some stuff that you can't get in other brands, such as this car. I don't think anybody else makes this in 164. So your options are this or nothing. All right, and then sticking with Porsche, we've got this beauty. This is probably like my favorite little thing I got out of this little box. And it's a 1/43 scale. At least it looks like it's a yeah, it says 1/43 on the bottom. By Yelf Yejo. If there's one language that I look at words and I cannot pronounce them, it's French. And I think that's what this is. It's French. I don't know. I think I'd have better luck at like pronouncing Japanese. But yeah, this is a nice little 1/43 scale car. It's very, very cool. And it's in good shape for like banging around loose. I don't know what the history of it, who had this, you know, whatever. Somebody that this guy bought a collection from obviously had a lot of 1/43 scale stuff. And this is pretty neat. So it's got one little side mirror. The doors open. You got to be careful though, because there we go. So you can take a look inside. See, and there's some detail in there. And the doors open with the window. Oh, and it's just the window frame. There's no glass in there. But that is kind of cool. This is like an etched metal piece, is what it feels like. Got some details on the door cards and stuff too. It almost looks like the engine compartment should open, but I've put some force on it and it does not. And it also looks like the frunk should open as well, and it does not either. But it does look like those could be separate pieces almost, with the way that they're cut out and the lines are made. But the doors do open, and they feel pretty fragile, but the door lines themselves, this one's not super great. This one on this side, though, is fantastic for an opening door. I think they did a really good job. And this is just a really good color combo for the car. You've got the white with the Carrera and the green matching colored rims. Yeah, and this is just really kind of sick looking Porsche. I dig this quite a bit, and it rolls. It rolls really well too. And 1/43rd scale. It's got to be 1/43rd. Look at this big Mercury compared to it. So, really cool. I'm glad I got that. I think I paid $5 for it, whatever. So that's, I don't know, that was worth it to me. That's a good addition to my little 1/43rd scale collection. And then we got this 1/43rd Schuko BMW Z3. So that's the thing. When you have like this interesting little, weird little 1/34th, you know, just acquired 1/43rd obsession, but I'm also super cheap. This is what you end up. You end up with just stuff, weird stuff, because, you know, I just get stuff at a bargain, and that's what I do. If I have to move this along down the line, I will, but kind of weird. Just one big, oh, there's a spring. What? There's a spring here. I've never seen that before. I've never seen anyone do a scale model with a spring on the bottom, like keeping pressure on the car. That's so weird. All right, that's interesting. BMW Z3 by Schuko in 1/43rd scale. This is all metal. It's a very heavy little piece. It does roll, however, not all that well. We've got, you know, your details up front for the headlights. We've got details in the back, of course, are inserted as well. Separate pieces for taillights. Pretty detailed interior. And then we've got what appears to be an opening hood. And yes, we do. Well, quite a bit of detail in there, too. So yeah, this car, like this BMW Z3, is not a car that I would ever really get that excited about. But it's a Schuko 1/43rd scale, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to pick it up, check it out for the price. Worst case scenario, if I got to throw this on eBay or something like that, or sell it in a whatnot stream, who knows? We will end up doing it and moving it on. Probably photograph it first, we'll see. But yeah, for now, this is going to join my little oddity 1/43rd scale collection. Definitely interesting. All right. Lastly, we're going to talk about these. I've got 4 of them to look at. We will pull them all off the base and check them out in detail. I pulled one, not off the base, but I pulled it out of this. Oof. And this plastic, by the way, is so brittle. It is like literally you could breathe on it and it's going to break. And that was cracked already, but obviously I just made it worse. Legends of Racing 1/43rd scale. So these are screwed down to this base, and this base feels like super cheap, by the way. And here these are. So, why I was disappointed? Well, in pictures, when you're just looking and flipping through Facebook, this thing looked like it was a bit more detailed and a bit more high quality than it actually is. So, it looks like it has rubber tires. It does not. These are plastic. Plastic tires. Now, that's not necessarily a deal breaker for it to have plastic tires. But guess what else it has? A plastic body. This whole thing is plastic. Plastic base, plastic body, it's screwed together very simply. There's obviously not going to be an interior in here because the windows are just part of the body piece and they're painted black. So just not a lot of details on here. And we have actual stickers, what it looks like on the front. And yeah, just a kind of a plastic mold of this particular car. They're kind of neat, but they're not as neat as I thought they would be. So maybe that's why I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm going to be a little careful with this one. I don't even think I'm going to take these off the base. I'm just going to leave them on for now because there's really no point in looking at the bottom of them. You know, they roll. It's all plastic tires. All plastic body. I mean, they do look cool. Like, from a distance, they look pretty cool. And I might be able to do something cool photography-wise with them. They're just not extremely detailed, really, when you start to look up close on them. And that's kind of a disappointment. At least I was disappointed. I just didn't know, you know. I thought they were going to be a lot cooler than they were. I actually ended up getting 2 of these, so I will be getting rid of one of those for sure. thought this one looked really awesome. David Pearson, Mercury Cyclone. But yeah, it's blacked out windows. Again, not a ton of detail up front here. The side detail's good. They look great from the side, but when you start looking close, you can see they just look cheap. They look cheap in person. They might look pretty cool on camera, I don't know, but in person these things look pretty chintzy, and that's, I mean, it is what it is. Let me know if you guys have any of these in your collection though, or if you think they're cool, what you think about them, or if you think they're a disappointment. I don't know. Maybe they do look cool. Maybe they'd be cool on like a vintage race diorama of some sort in 1/43 scale. It'd have to be a pretty big diorama, but I'd rather have these cards in 1/64 scale with all this detail, even if they were all plastic and stuff like that. That would be a little bit better for me. When you start getting into the smaller scale, the details don't matter quite as much because they're so much smaller and harder to see, but when you get stuff like this, it is what it is. All right, so that is gonna be it, I guess, for this video. The highlight of it for me, honestly, is probably this Porsche, because it's just the coolest looking piece we've got. I also love getting old Tomy pocket cars. It's very, very cool. And this piece is actually quite neat as well, in spite of the loose bumper on the front. But that's very, very, very easily fixable. And I think it's quite cool. No, the doors open on this? No, they don't. So just a trunk and a hood. But yeah, kind of an interesting day today. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And again, Whatnot stream tomorrow. I hope to see you all there. And good luck. Hopefully you win something. And I do appreciate your support, as always. Thank you again. Have a good day.